Konnichiwa, vinyl community. Konnichiwa, Brian. It's Bill with the Vinylverse. Jumping in and taking on the Japan vinyl tag. Brian over at Tokyo Record Style, several weeks back, maybe even more than a month, put out the Japan vinyl tag. Brian has lived in Japan for the past 20 years. He hit his 20-year anniversary and put together a Japan vinyl tag in celebration of his 20th anniversary in Japan. I knew I wanted to do this tag. It was just a matter of finding the time to do it, and now is that time. Tokyo Record Style. So Brian, really great channel. Highly recommend you check him out, and definitely check out his video for the Japan vinyl tag. Brian is so passionate and enthusiastic about music, and he communicates really eloquently and just shares his love of these albums and the stuff he talks about. And he celebrates Japan on his channel. My favorite videos of Brian's are he'll visit different record shops and spend some time in these shops and go through everything, and it's just enjoyable to watch him just live his life in Japan and share it with everybody. So like I said, he put together the Japan vinyl tag. I have the questions here, and I'm gonna do it. Now I will say that this was really daunting. There were some harder type of things at least for me, to figure out for this. Now Brian, I'm going to take a step back. Brian does say that this tag isn't meant to deter anybody from doing it, being that it's Japan. You can certainly substitute, don't have to focus strictly on Japan, and you don't have to answer all the questions if you don't want to. I got a huge stack here, so I did the best I could and had a lot of fun trying to figure out what I would show with these prompts that Brian gave us. But like I said, Brian, Tokyo Record Style, highly recommend you check him out. He's great for me to watch. Kind of when I'm closing down at night, I'll sit on the couch and put him up on the TV. And I don't know, something about Brian, his delivery, everything. He's just so, it's relaxing to watch your videos, Brian. So I'm gonna start this vinyl tag because there's 20 prompts here, and this may be a longer video anyway. So let's jump in here. So number one, Obi One. Oh, so I should mention, so for each number prompt, Brian kind of has like a Japan related theme to it. So Obi One, show a record with a Japanese Obi strip or cool insert. And then he also said bonus points, learn a Japanese character. All right, so I'm not going to talk about these really, but I wanted to show a few of some of my favorite jazz records that I actually have Japanese pressings of with the Obi strip. So real quickly, let's see here. So Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, A Night in Tunisia, one of my absolute favorite Blue Note jazz records. Really great. And there's the nice wide Obi strip there. This is Charles Mingus, and I can never say this properly, but it's Pithecanthropus erectus by Charles. It says the Charles Mingus Jazz Workshop. So Charles Mingus Jazz Workshop. So really, really great album. And here is the Obi strip, kind of this brown strip here. And another favorite is Mal 2, Mal Waldron. Mal Waldron, another great album that I really enjoy. And there's the Obi strip. Okay, so 3 favorite jazz records. Then I wanted to show this one. This is the Great Jazz Trio. The Great Jazz Trio. And this is them live at the Village Vanguard in 1977. So this lineup of the Great Jazz Trio is Hank Jones on piano, Ron Carter on bass, and Tony Williams on drums. Really, really great album. Japan only press. I think it was only pressed in Japan on East Wind Records. East Wind there. But I wanted to show this one because it kind of has a dual Obi. I don't know if you know anything about that, Brian, why they put 2 Obi strips on, but I find that very cool. You kind of have this slimmer strip and then the main strip with more information. Great album. And then bonus points, learn a Japanese character. Now, I didn't learn a Japanese character, but I wanted to pull out my pressing of the Max Roach Quartet Nomo from 1976. Really, really great record. This is a promo album, and I wanted to point out that this little symbol, these 3 symbols right here, I know that translates as sample. So I wanted to show that for the bonus. I learned that from my good friend Robert Z in the VC. He had pointed that out many years ago. That on Japanese promo records, you'll find those 3 characters, and it means sample in Japanese. So that takes care of number 1. All right, number 2, a Japanese band or artist. Show a Japanese band or artist, or a Japan-inspired band or artist. Okay, so I wanted to show Kazumi Watanabe. Kazumi Watanabe, great guitarist. This album is from 1987. Really crazy artwork there. It's kind of in the almost like rock fusion there, and it's a trio of Kazumi Watanabe, Bill Bruford on drums, and Jeff Berlin on bass. At this time, Bill Bruford was heavily using electronic drums, and that sound is really prominent on here. It's definitely got a very 80s sound to it, as it was 1987. So it definitely sounds of the time. Jeff Berlin on bass, he really goes crazy on this album, and it's awesome. Really, really good album. So Kazumi Watanabe. Number 3, Sunrise Soundtrack. Share a record for watching a sunrise. Okay, I decided to show Lisa Belladonna and her Appalachian Wilderness record from 2019, I believe. Sorry, 2021. So Lisa Belladonna, kind of champion of maybe electronic music in today's world. So she kind of, kind of uses synthesizers and Moogs and ARPs, and heavily inspired by, those 70s Berlin School and other electronic musicians. So Appalachian Wilderness is 2 tracks. Side 1 is Kanawha Falls, West Virginia, and side 2 is Otage of the Great Smoky Mountains. So really both are great songs, and both would work for a sunrise. I feel they kind of like, with the exception of the first 3 minutes of the first song, kind of Wild Falls, West Virginia. If you start this song at maybe the 3-minute mark, it kind of starts off with some kind of nature, wilderness sounds, birds chirping, water flowing, and it just kind of builds, and I think it would be perfect for a sunrise. And side 2, the Attica High of the Great Smoky Mountains, I think also would be perfect for a sunrise. So Lisa Belladonna, Appalachian Wilderness. Terrific album. Here's one that I had a little bit of difficulty with, but it's, so number 4 is City Sounds, show a record with a city vibe. I landed on Donny Hathaway, Everything is Everything. This is from 1970, so a classic soul record. One of the standout tracks or hits on here is The Ghetto. It's kind of one of the reasons maybe I felt to use it for the the City Sounds. So yeah, Donny Hathaway. Next, number 5, Zen Listening. Show a record that quiets your mind. So this came to me pretty quickly. It's Alice Coltrane, Journey in Skachadinanda. A favorite record of mine. A year or two ago, the Acoustic Sound Series put this version out, and it's terrific. Sounds wonderful. Kind of spiritual jazz, a little bit avant-garde, maybe. Definite Eastern influences. So yeah, another favorite of mine, and this definitely is an album that kind of centers me and puts me in that, where did you put it here, Zen listening mode. So if I need to kind of turn off my mind, this is one that I'll put on, and it kind of grounds me a little bit more. Okay, here's another one that I had a little difficulty with. Number 6, Go 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 Godzilla. Share a record that destroyed your musical expectations and perceptions. So I landed on, this is a new release as of a month or so ago. And it is John Anderson and the Band Geeks, and the album True. Now, it blew my expectations because this cover artwork is terrible. But I love John Anderson. Of course, I love Yes. And this album with the Band Geeks, there they all are there. This really, this album is great. A lot of the Band Geeks are definitely kind of channeling 70s Yes on this record, from the tones of the instruments, the way they're played, the sounds, and the songs are just really, really well produced, really great. John sounds excellent for being close to 80 years old. Just a fantastic record. I saw the cover art and I was on the fence if I was actually going to get it, but I jumped on it and have been really pleasantly surprised with how good this album is. So John Anderson and the Band Geeks, True, from this year. All right, we're at number 7, Ahead of Its Time. Share a record that was ahead of its time. So I decided to go with David Bowie Low from 1977. Although this album is definitely influenced from krautrock. David Bowie was living in Berlin at this time. I know he was definitely influenced by bands like Kraftwerk. But I think this album itself became influential for the future. Definitely, punk was maybe at its highest right there, and at this point, and all of side 2 of this record is kind of ambient music, and I feel like this album definitely kind of precursor to maybe like new wave, some of the sounds on here, and what's the other term? Post-rock. Definitely think this album influenced a lot going forward. So Bowie was definitely influenced, but him creating this record definitely influential on others. Great record by David Bowie. Low. Number 8, Take a Walk, Man. Sony Walkman Tribute. Show an album suitable for dubbing to cassette for the classic Sony Walkman. I went with the first thing that jumped in my head, and that is Rush Hemispheres. If I were walking through the streets of Tokyo, I could see putting this cassette in and walking around, kind of drowning out the outside hustle and bustle, and just listening to this, which is one of my favorite Rush records, one of their best in my opinion. Side 2 especially, fantastic. So Sony Walkman, Rush Hemispheres. Okay, number 9, Bullet Train. Show a record perfect for a train ride. So I think I would put on, this is Popol Vuh and Einjogger and Seibenjogger. What year was this? 1974. So Popol Vuh, coming out of the krautrock world. This album is a duo of Florian Fricke and Daniel Feichelschur. So Daniel Feichelschur on guitar and percussion, and Florian Fricke on piano and spinet. This album, like I mentioned, krautrock, and it's slightly progressive, but really, really great, and mostly instrumental. This album has some imagery, which I think is Japanese art there. So yeah, listening to this on a bullet train would, I think, be quite enjoyable. All right, number 10, Lost in Translation. Share a record that takes you to a different world. How about Klaus Schulze and Dune? So this is from 1980, and yeah, inspired by Dune, the novel by Frank Herbert, and this is definitely otherworldly. Sometimes there's no melodic structure, but it's a great record. And Klaus Schulze, electronic musician, synthesizers, started out as a percussionist, but quickly grew into kind of a electronic composer, and this one's really good. I think it may have come out in 1979, but I think I said 1980 earlier. But yeah, that's number 10, which was Lost in Translation. All right, number 11, Live at Budokan. Show any record recorded live. Well, here is Steve Hackett, the Tokyo Tapes. So Steve Hackett, former guitarist of Genesis, 1996, 1998, he went and recorded this album in Tokyo. It was, I don't think it was a tour or anything. I think it was more of a standalone. He started getting back to performing Genesis music, and he reworked some of their classic tunes on here, like Watcher of the Skies, Firth of Fifth, In That Quiet Earth. And then he had some guest musicians on here, like John Wetton, Chester Thompson, Ian MacDonald, and Julian Colbeck. So he incorporated some of like songs by King Crimson, like The Chord of the Crimson King, I Talk to the Wind. He does some covers on here, like All Along the Watchtower. So this is great. I bought, when this came out, it only came out on CD, which I bought, but this was a Record Store Day release, 2022, I think. So I was thrilled that they put this out. Steve Hackett, the Tokyo tape, so live in Japan, live in Tokyo. All right, number 12, a vinyl bar DJ. Show a record to play at a vinyl bar. So Brian tells a story about how he was almost removed one time at a vinyl bar because he wanted to know what record was playing at the time, and he tried to snap a picture of it, and that's a big no-no apparently. I guess a vinyl bar, you're supposed to just more concentrate on listening to the records that are being played and, you know, conversing with your neighbors about it. So I thought this would be a good one. This is Golden Apples of the Sun by Suzanne Ciani and Jonathan Fitoussi. This came out last year, and I think it's a great record. You know, somewhat ambient, electronic ambient. There is spoken word on here for the title track, Golden Apples of the Sun, which is based from a poem by W.B. Yeats called The Song of Wandering Aengus. I guess Aengus is the Gaelic god of love and youth. So while the music's playing, Suzanne Ciani recites that poem for the title track, Golden Apples of the Sun. But fantastic. This is the insert. You can see them with all their patches and stuff. So Suzanne Ciani, if I didn't mention already, she was kind of a pioneer of electric synthesizer music, especially with the Buchla. And Jonathan Fitoussi, I think, is a French composer. Yeah. So really terrific, and I think this would be definitely interesting for people to sit down and listen to. And I really enjoy it, so I hope others would too. So, Golden Apples of the Sun, Suzanne Ciani and Jonathan Fitoussi. All right, that was number 12. So number 13, Island Nation, shared a record with an island vibe. So this was another one that I was racking my brain with, and I couldn't come up with anything that was a true island vibe album, but ultimately I landed on Empyrean Isles by Herbie Hancock from 1964 on Blue Note with Freddie Hubbard, Ron Carter, and Anthony Williams. So Freddie Hubbard on trumpet, Ron Carter on bass, and Anthony Williams on drums. All-time classic album from Herbie Hancock. Has the track Cantaloupe Island. So there is some text on here by Nora Kelly, who is an author, and I thought I'd read one paragraph here. So yeah, I'll just read it. It goes, "No man has ever been known to set foot upon their shores, but ships have passed close enough to glimpse, through the enfolding mists, the slender stems of bright trees swaying in the breeze, and near one of the isles, to catch the lush, overpowering odor of ripe cantaloupes. Men say this island is covered with leafy green vines and cantaloupes are everywhere. Nothing else grows there, and flourishing thus unchecked, the vines and melons attain enormous size. It is said that a mere mouthful of these cantaloupes will give immortality to him who eats it. So, not a true sense of island record, but that's what I'm going to answer with it. Empyrean Isles. Okay, so that was number 13. Number 14, Monsoon Season. Share a record for a rainy day. Okay, this is, I think this would be a great record for a rainy day. So this is, the group is named, I don't know if you say 2814 or 2814 or 2814, but the album title is Birth of a New Day. And I don't know, Brian, can you tell if this is Japan or Japanese writing? I'm not 100% sure. I believe it is. I think this does translate to Birth of a New Day. You would know better than me. But yeah, this is just a terrific album from 2015. This is a 2019 reissue, and I was so happy to get a copy of it because it's been a favorite of mine for a long time. I don't really collect vaporwave, but this album is one that I've always kind of loved. Anyway, so vaporwave, kind of slow down tempo. Yeah, it would be, if it's raining outside, kind of gray. It even looks like maybe this shot is through a window with water dripping on it. Even more so there. So definitely check this one out. Really, really great, and I think it would be really good in a rain if it's raining or a gray day. They also have an album called The Rain. I think it's called The Rain Temple. That's another good one too, and I'd love to have that one on vinyl as well. This is on Dream Catalog, if anyone's interested in looking that up. So yeah, 2814, Birth of a New Day, from 2015. Really, really great record. All right, moving along here. So number 15, Wabi-Sabi, show a record that's imperfectly perfect. This was another one that I struggled with, but I landed on Annette Peacock, The Perfect Release. Another great album, I think. So it does have the word perfect in the title, but that's not why I picked it. So Annette Peacock, avant-garde musician, poet, I guess. I think my thought process was that she is definitely an acquired voice, acquired taste. Her voice, the way she delivers her vocals, a lot of it is almost beat poetry. But yeah, this is a great album also. Definitely grooves. And let's see what it says on here. Released in 1979, this prophetic stew of spoken word jazz and funk from Annette Peacock was widely ahead of its time and is still salient today. Her unflinching examinations of capitalism, sex, religion, et al. Are underscored by lengthy, gorgeous grooves. Peacock wields her voice with wild abandon, at times delivering a melody like a beat poet, while other times wailing out of her throat like a saxophone, hitting blue notes as she pleases. Where most musicians riff, she creates sonic space, perhaps too esoteric to garner commercial praise at the time. So, and that peacock imperfectly perfect, in my opinion. Okay. Number 16, Origami Me. Show a record with intricate or interesting packaging. All right. Let's see here. I couldn't come up with anything that has intricate packaging. So what I decided to show is I have my favorite group, if you don't know Brian, is Genesis. It has been for many, many, many years. And I have a collection of their catalog in these Japanese mini LPs with Obi and everything. I bought these off of Steve Hackett himself when they came out. Here's Foxtrot. You can see he's autographed them. But they have the Obis. There's Nursery Crime. And the cool thing with these is on the side of the Obi, as you start to put them together, it builds out the Genesis logo. A little hard to tell there. And a few of these, I don't know what happened, but I don't have the Obi for like the Genesis self-titled album or these down, Invisible Touch and We Can't Dance. But that's pretty cool. So they spell out Genesis there. So that's going to be my answer. And it was a cool excuse to show off these Genesis mini LPs. All right, so that is my answer for Origami Me. All right, number 17, Fusion Frenzy. Share an album that fuses genres. One thing I was trying to do for this Japan vinyl tag is kind of, as much as I could, stick with Japanese themes or things related to Japan, Japanese pressings, whatnot. So for this Fusion Frenzy, I chose Jade Warrior and their Floating World album. And I guess here is a samurai. So this came out in 1974. Yeah, there's even some text on here. This is either inspired by or Yukio, the Floating World. It's going to be hard to see, but it is the beginnings of the modern Japanese novel. I guess this little text here is taken from the beginnings of the modern Japanese novel. But yeah, Jade Warrior, this is their fourth album, I think this is their fourth album. And this was kind of a departure of what they had done on the first three albums, which was more progressive rock. This still does have a little rock, but it's getting more into Eastern and more ambient. So it's what did you call it? A fusion frenzy? Because it kind of has a world music vibe, a little bit of rock, jazz, even classical, and sometimes those genres overlap. So you might get classical melody on the flute with more of a rock overtones. It's so genre bending. Floating World, Jade Warrior, and that's cool artwork with definitely Japanese influence. All right, number 18, Tokyo Nights, Show a Nightlife record. Another one I didn't really know what to show here, but I landed on, when I think of nightlife, I think of maybe clubs going out to clubs, dancing, that type of stuff. And I thought B-52s are a great kind of party band. So this is their debut album from 1979. And yeah, I love the B-52s. So nightlife, clubbing, B-52s. All right, we're getting there. We're almost there. 19, end of the day. Otsukaresama. Did I pronounce that right? Otsukaresama, maybe? Show a record to play at the end of a busy day. Here is Tangerine Dream and their 1975 Rubicon, and Japanese pressing with the Obi. Really terrific album. Ambient. This is, their Berlin school style, kind of with the sequencers and the repeating patterns, and really terrific. And at the end of a busy day, sitting down, maybe with a drink to settle, this would be perfect. So yeah, great album. Rubicon by Tangerine Dream. Okay, now we are at number 20, The Last Samurai. Share a record to be remembered by, to play at your memorial. So I didn't have to think much about this one, because I've always thought in my mind that I would like this to be played at my memorial, funeral, whatever. I doubt that it would actually happen, but and it's not the album. It's a particular song, or two songs actually, which are the same song but different versions. So this is Passion by Peter Gabriel from 1989. It's basically the soundtrack to the movie The Last Temptation of Christ. But on here there is a song called With This Love, and I've always just felt it is one of the most beautiful songs, or anything that I've ever heard. And after that song plays, a couple songs later on this album is another is not really a reprise of the song, but they play the song again, but with a boys choir, and it's just like hauntingly beautiful. If I can manage it, I will, and if it doesn't get picked up by the YouTube police, I will play on the closing of this video. I will play one of those two versions, not sure which yet. But With This Love, Peter Gabriel from 1989, just super beautiful. And that concludes the Japan vinyl tag. I want to thank you, Brian, again for putting this together, and I guess congratulations on the 20 years in Japan. You're celebrating it, so why not congratulate you? Japan is a place for me that's a bucket list place that I would like to visit. I doubt it will ever happen in my lifetime, but would just love to go and experience Japan. The food, the culture, the history. So maybe someday. You never know. But everyone, I appreciate you watching this long video. If you've made it this far. Brian, thanks so much. I know I caught a bit of your live stream one night, and you were showing a spreadsheet that you have, that you keep everybody's responses of what albums, and you're trying to get through and listen to everything. I don't know how you're doing that, but that is very, very cool. And I think that's just really cool that you're trying to do that. So I hope you, Brian, enjoyed my Japan vinyl tag. This was definitely fun to do, and I appreciate you putting it out there, and I've loved seeing the response. Everyone, again, thanks for watching. Appreciate you all. Hope everyone is doing well, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye now. Thanks, Brian. Take care.